Welcome back, everyone. Today I bring you a new cast, and you read correctly. This is game 2 of a series between SuSping and Make Arty Not Friends. The reason for that is simply that the first game was a 40-minute grindfest on two lakes between 82nd Airborne and 11E. So it wasn't a bad game, it just also wasn't particularly interesting. So I decided I would go straight to game 2, where we see on the right hand side in blue SuSping bringing out the 5th Panzerdivision of West Germany, going up against Make Arty Not Friends in red on the left hand side as 27 Guards Motostrelki Division. On death row, as you can see. It's a interesting matchup, specifically considering their deck builds. Now I obviously don't know whether they specifically modeled their decks for this matchup. I also don't know who picked first or second. I would say both decks are decent, though SuSping has like a shit ton of artillery and like nowhere near enough supply if he wants to use all of that artillery, which is a bit weird. On the other hand, we have Make Arty Not Friends bringing in a load of AA in his deck and 4 air superiority fighters. So I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't build your deck normally like that. So I would assume that he built it specifically to counter 5th Panzerdivision, because they have been known for quite a bit of air spam recently since the F4 AT got buffed. You can like basically have 2 cards of like one card of F4 AT and 1 card of the F4 rockets, and then you have 6 F4 ground support planes with 30% ECM. And I mean, the rocket one can delete an infantry squad in the open against buildings. It's a bit rough depending on the size of the infantry squad. And the AT with the buffed Mavericks is really, really dangerous to tanks now. And then on top of that, you take the MW1 and then also your shotgun fighters, and yikes. Though the slots are fairly expensive, but well, that's still what he expects. And no infantry TGM, which I found interesting, because I mean, 5th will always have a lot of vehicles of some sort, even though now they don't have the transport Fuchs with the Milan anymore, but still you have the Madas, the Leopard 1s, the Leopard 2s, the Luxes as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. Air defense for SuSping is not the best, but I mean, 27Y is really known for their air support aircraft, so that's fine. And let's see what they actually put down on the field. So we have a Fernspeer for SuSping going to the center to Jäger Aufklärer. One also going to the center to Genital with a Fernspeer, and one going to the bottom side. One Milan 2 very aggressively going into the Alpha sector without recon. That's a bit weird. Then we have 2 Leopard 1A1s, 2 Gepards, Jäger, Panzergrenadier, Marder, and Jaguar 2. Going towards Alpha, except for who's going there? Oh yeah, the Jäger are going here, which is that's not really the spot you want to put Jägers in, because there's an open field. A Jäger is not gonna help you cover that really. A recon unit would be fine, but just a Jäger, yeah, that's a bit of a waste. 2 Gepards is definitely interesting, but makes sense because you always have to be ready for the helicopter rush, to some degree at least, against Soviet divisions with armored helicopters. 2 Leopard 1A1s, 1A1A1s in this position is risky. Like, I feel they would be better used if you want to use them either here or here, but specifically in the center area, there's just a lot of open ground to cover, and you're playing against the ADBVs that have ATGMs and well, just against normal ATGMs, even though he doesn't know that his enemy doesn't have any ATGMs. 3 Leopard 1A1s actually. And 2 going aggressively down the center, and 1... I mean, the big disadvantage of the Leopard 1A1A1 is the limited range. Why would you use them down the center? Specifically against a division that has a lot of BMP3s with the long-range ATGM. Jäger Aufklärer now also going to the top side. Panzergrenadier M113 going to the top side. It's a weird squad in my opinion. I would always rather take the Pioneer. 2 Bopas. A Jäger, 2 Fliegerfaust and Jäger going to the bottom side. I mean, that's a decent idea. Though I think the Jäger would be better also down completely at the bottom, because people rarely attack over this lane here. And then on the other side you can see 3 Spezialaufklärer deploying into the middle, fairly close to each other. The last one also going into this forest line. Then the BRDM is going to the top side. 1 BRDM going to the bottom side. And then we just have a massive push down the center with... how many is that? 1, 2, 6 BMP3s with the Motostrelki in them, obviously, and the Tunguska. So that's very aggressive deployment down the center. 2 Bopas might be pretty strong here, actually. Now, obviously, we have the 1 Tunguska that could deal with them quickly, but it depends whether it can get close enough or not. And because it's behind the BMPs by quite a big margin now, actually, it can be dangerous. Deploys all the infantry fairly defensively. I mean, that's not good for the infantry. It's obviously good for the BMP3s because then they can utilize their ATGM. But you can see there's literally nothing at the bottom side, which is honestly a good call because an armored division is rarely gonna rush down here. Though I have used this strat a few times and I've seen other people use it like 1 or 2 patches ago. So it's a risk you can make. Fernspiel here engaging the Spetsrazvedka, well, not really going too well. Yeah, also weird to deploy the Fernspiel so aggressively and not use them, as a defensive recon unit, because that's what you want to use them for, because they're GSR squad. And I always say don't use your GSR squads to fight, they're way too valuable for that. Bopa here engaging the Tunguska, actually. Oh, and he kills it! That's pretty bad loss. MiG-23 comes in, kills it off. Maybe we'll get killed by the Gepard. Oh, no, it barely survives. Oof, that was very lucky. The other Bopa here is crew injured, so isn't doing anything at the moment. And yeah, everything in the center was not deployed very defensively. Both players also started with no command. Iltis now came in for SuSping, and the RKHM for Arty. But the Iltis is now standing around in the back. RKHM as well. But there's a second RKHM for the bottom side, and also a second Iltis for both players' bottom points, so mirroring their second buys. That's funny. Well, I don't think it. No, there was the second buy, but the command buy-ins. Another MiG-23 AA comes in, kills off the second Bopa. Gepard's in this case obviously out of position. Fliegerfaust maybe will get the kill. Yeah, the chances were very low anyway. BRDM here killing the Jäger. Yeah, that's the thing. You can use them here defensively, I guess, but even for that they're not that good, and for the offensive they're completely useless because just one now 40 point, they were 35 points before, but a 40 point BRDM can just keep them back and there's nothing they can do against that. ATGM City in the center, yeah, Martyrs really stand no chance against the BMP3s in a 1v1. You really need to outnumber your enemy in this case by a lot. And the problem is the leopards here are really not helping because their extremely low range is even worse, obviously, against the 2,800 meter ATGM. And the BMP3 that has a pretty high armor. I'm pretty sure at max range the Leopard 1A1 can't one-hit the BMP3. Milan 2 can though, so that's at least something. And the BMP3 can also not one-hit the Leopard 1A1, so, you know, kind of fair. The MiG-27 HE now coming in to strafe the Bopa, the third one, and it will... Oh, Round 3 coming in, but it misses, as said. So it does survive. Oh, maybe the Fliegerfaust... It gets the shot, but doesn't even kill it. Because it's only 4 damage. So, I mean, that's 3 of his 4 helicopters down, and your Bopas are... I've shown them in a video already. They can be very powerful. You just really shouldn't use them that aggressively. And now, like, Iltis Führung finally coming to the front line. Really a big mistake for him to not move it up earlier, because especially for SuSping, you basically get this zone for free as blue, because you have this big forest line where you can hide, and your enemy needs to either push through your open or through this forest line, which you can also protect fairly easily. This sector is more contested, but he could have been on it's a +4 tick even for such a long time now. And death row, you can get high ticks pretty quickly. And so, on the other hand, if you don't get them, there's a lot of value lost. So, big mistake here by SuSping, and still not moving into the sector. Oh, that's... Yikes, he could have been at such a big advantage. Jäger Aufklärer here, not in the building. Pulimechiki also not in the building, so it's kind of fair, I guess. Could use the Jäger to support here, to get the kill quicker. Thought I saw an ATGM flying there, though apparently not. Leopard 1A1 still going around here, and now actually Arty captures his sector, and SuSping is still hasn't even drove his command. It's right in front of the sector, like... that's really painful. And now Arty is at a +2 tick. Oh no, yeah, right. It would only be a +2 because it was neutralized before, right? Yeah, that was my mistake. And now, actually, Artie also captures it, and now he's at a +4 tick. Oh no, SuSping, that's very, very bad. He's slowly moving into the bottom sector. That's good, because like that was just a big ruse here, right? There's nothing there. Or one Pulimechiki, that's really nothing. Finally moves in his command. Well, it took him long enough, but. Now Arty is still at a +2, and the bottom side, yeah, at least it will neutralize, but Arty has his own command in the sector as well, so it's only neutralize. And SuSping could have been ticking for a long, long, long time. Well, to be fair, Arty could have also moved his command forward earlier, but yeah, as I said, getting this sector completely as blue is way easier than getting this sector completely as red. So, still, there could have been a massive advantage for SuSping. Leopard 1A1 dies to some ATGM, because that's what will happen if you play against 27Y. It's just a lot of ATGMs that have so much range that you can't touch them, even with your own ATGMs most likely. Leopard 1A1 smokes off, but it's now just standing in your open, and yeah, it's a bit of an awkward position. Pulls it back. Pretty sure I saw Leopard 2 being bought in at some point. Apparently not. Must have been just another Leopard 1A101. Panzermörser. Pretty sure that's too far back yet. It can't even reach the front line at this range, so he needs to push it further forward. Offensive on the bottom side, but yeah, again, like, you can't just use your martyrs, because the BMP3 will eat your martyrs within seconds, and in this case he's at least close enough to also fire his Milan 1, but yeah, the ATGM of the BMP3 doesn't even have a name anymore. What was it called? The Bastion, I think it was called before, is very fast. So yeah, you saw it just reaches the Martyr 2 earlier, Martyr 1A2 earlier than the Milan 1 reaches the BMP3. So yeah, now reinforcements came in for Artie, and SuSping is in a really bad position down at the bottom. You would need something like a Leopard 2 A3 or A4, doesn't really matter. But if he would have a Leopard 2, let's see, even a Leopard 2 A3 in the push at the bottom as well, before all this infantry came in, he could have taken care of those BMP3s. Because you could use the martyrs as just, soaking up the ATGMs, and then the Leopard 2 goes and deals the damage. But now he's look at all the reinforcements coming in for Arty and even a T80 BV. There's another Leopard 1A1A1 coming, and that's really not the use case for them. Again, you might use them en masse for an early attack somewhere, as SuSping tried. Though again, the open was really not the play there. But you then need to keep the attack up with heavier stuff and not just sending in more and more light stuff against entrenched BMP3s. That's really not the play. Center, bunch of stuff dying. AA plane coming in, strafing the Iltis. How did he see that? What? Was it just something? Oh, the Spetsnazwerka might have spotted it from a very weird angle. Oh, yeah. You can see the wreck there. Oh, that's so unlucky. Oh, yeah, that's very painful. I mean, the MiG-23 at least goes down, but honestly, that's a trade I would take every day. Oh, man, that's so unlucky. BTR 80 could be used as fire support more effectively. Yeah, as I also showed in the last of my own replays, I actually uploaded every sort of BTR is extremely powerful as fire support because they're fairly cheap and still provide a lot of firepower. And now with the Dragon and Metis nerfs at a pretty high range, pretty sure they are outranging the Metis now. If I'm not completely, yeah, they're outranging Dragons and Metis now. So very powerful tools in your arsenal. And yeah, so the tick for SuSping stopped because of this Iltis incident in the middle. Infantry came into the what's the name of the sector, by the way? It's Echo. Yeah, it's a bit weird that you have Alpha and Echo next to each other. So the Jäger will win the infantry fight, obviously, but the BMP3s here in support are pretty much uncontested. There's a 1 Marder 182 in the back. The Mannschaftstransportwagen M113 is really useless in this case. Is also one of those MG vehicles that didn't get a buff to 15 points. Oh yeah, little cat came. Sorry, I have to pet. Little cutie pie, but sorry. I'm gaming right now, my guy. Yeah, well, as I said, those units would normally win against all this infantry, but with the BMP support they had, now the BMP3s obviously can't support them because of the fight that's going on in the building here, covered by the other building, but they were already at super low cohesion, so this fight is way more even than it should be. There again, Fernspeer being used as a combat squad, really bad idea. Okay, the cat really wants to cuddle at the moment. Sorry guys. But Kitty is very important. F4F coming in to get some shots in, but unfortunately missed or didn't align even, I'm not sure. Iltis in the bottom side gets killed. So now the sector is completely captured and Arty is at a +2 tick. One BMP3 dies at least. I'm pretty sure it was to the F4. Let's see if it can get another kill. Yes, it can. Okay, so 2 BMP3s down. That's good. But it's a bit too late because the infantry fight has already been lost. He's been pushed completely out of Echo. He's still contesting Alpha, but he's also been completely pushed out of Foxtrot. And look at just a massive amount of infantry here. And yeah, now he has a Leopard 2A3 here, but it's way too late, and the last Bopa. But now it's just sitting there, kind of doing nothing. It's not even supporting the Jäger that's moving over the open against, being shot at by 2 BMP3s. Really not a good of an idea. And The Bowpug gets instantly killed by the Igla. Yeah, was pushed up way too aggressively. You really need to keep your Bowpass in the back, out of enemy AA range. Or he used them in the beginning aggressively. That's also a good idea, actually. I did that in the last league against Jig, countering the 5E play with their AMXs. But that's, you know, a very specific strategy, and in this case, didn't really work out. Leopard 1A1A1s getting rid of the Spetsnaz is very good. Oh, did the Lux get the kill, or one of the Leopard ones? Yeah, okay, that was also a very important kill, killing of the Motostrike Metis. Because even with the Metis and Dragon nerf, those squads are still very potent. They're just not, you know, brokenly overpowered as they were before. But they're still very, very dangerous. Leopard 2A3 here at low HP, really... Okay, it wasn't moving forward, it was just repositioning. Panzermörser is now finally in position, but yeah, using one Panzermörser for HE is not really useful. Like, if you have all three of them, you can saturate an area. Then the question is that really useful, or wouldn't it be better to just use normal howitzers? Like, they would be more expensive, obviously, than the mortars, but they would also be way more deadly. And just use the mortars for smoking, well, for laying a smoke wall. Don't smoke, kids, it's bad for your health. Jaguar 2 here in a very, very weird position. Don't really know how it even got there. Leopard 1A1 is now in a very bad position. Yeah, smokes off and really should pull back. Supply is empty, so that's bad news. A new supply coming in. Oh, okay, that's actually good. It was way closer than I thought. Lars now coming in. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still not a big fan of the Lars. It's just... the HE power is so underwhelming. The rate of fire is like okay, but... it also has a very long salvo length, so you need to cancel it manually if you don't want to get counter-batteried. Mostly you see them used in 10v10s in pairs, or even 4 of them, so you take both cards and then you use all 4 of them at the same time, and even then their damage is very underwhelming and they're very easily counter-batteried. And believe me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm the artillery god of 10v10. I'm sure a lot of people hate me, but playing artillery in 10v10 is very fun and very chill. And, you know, people were always copying about the sound bug because it was annoying and a bug. But you don't need the sound bug to counter battery people, because most people don't bother to move their artillery. Recon helicopter gets shot down. Also a very weird choice to take them. They're not really that useful in 5th Panzer. Also, the weird choice of buying rocket artillery now is... SuSping is fairly thin on the front line. Like, okay, he's brought in 2 Jägers here on the bottom side, but you really need the armored blob of leopards and martyrs and everything you can get as 5th. And there's nothing there. Like, not even close. The bottom side is fairly stable, surprisingly, because actually Make Arty had a big advantage over down there. F4 unfortunately gets hit on its run-in and only gets an empty MTLB, so that wasn't really worth it. Yeah, now it's more infantry coming in, but yeah, as I said, I would have much preferred maybe a howitzer other than a Lars and a mortar. Even though there would have been even more of an investment, but at least the investment would have been worth it. Because now it's like, what are we gonna do with that? And you see, there's no infantry here. Okay, 1 infantry squad. But the Saperi and the Arty, the Motostrelki, will be very, very powerful in this position. And most likely will deal with all the vehicles here fairly quickly. Moving in the Leopard 1 is really not a play. Yikes. So 1 Leopard 1A1 already dead. We would just need to move a little bit further forward and he could snipe the CV, and that would be really painful. Lux here also not the best unit to buy. And again, another Arlet getting shot down. I feel like Luxus are an early game unit for flanking, and then maybe again later for like an armored blob, but not for such a case. And you see the Panzergrenadier are now almost dead. Autostrike move forward, and we'll surely shortly see the command. Panzergrenadier Marder gets killed on its way in. The second one also gets killed. Command dies. Yeah, this is going from bad to worse. Look at this kill list. Oh god, this is horrible. Jesus Christ. And the Leopard 2A3 still on the bottom side, just sitting there. This is almost a minute worth of wincome just wasted. It's doing nothing. At least he has pushed in a command into Echo, but he lost Alpha completely because he just had no infantry there. And now there's a last firing at the BMP and the T80, and this will do basically nothing. I mean, look at this. Look at this. It fires so slowly. I mean, yeah, sure, it does some cohesion damage, but you know what could have also done cohesion damage and actual damage? The Mars, the cluster Mars. And again, even though it would have cost twice as much, it would have actually killed the BMP and the T80 here. And those together would have even cost more than the Mars. And the Lars, I mean, what did it accomplish? Literally nothing. And now you will need to buy supply to even use it again. For the Mars, you obviously also need to buy supply, but you can do like half salvos with the Mars of 6 rockets, or even maybe third. Is it, what do you call it? Third salvos, where you only use a third, and reliably kill units. Though I use half salvos because they are safe. Not so sure about 4 rockets, you know. And I mean, what SuSping is supposed to do now? Like, the game has been going on for over 20 minutes. Make Artie is now over 200 points, almost 400 points ahead. There's a bunch of... He has a bunch of armor on the field that is way better than SuSping's. Oh no, SU-17 AT coming in. Leopard 2 smokes too late. Oof, oof, oof. I mean, at least the Roland 3 gets a hit in and the SU-17 retreats, but I mean, the damage has already been done. And this Leopard 2A3 command is now also in a very, very bad spot. Here, the advance is completely cancelled. This forest line is very hard to take for him now, especially if he deploys his units like here. Why? I mean, yeah, okay, it makes sense that he wants to get more infantry in because he needs to defend his sector, but that's what I mean, like, he's now just decisively on the back foot and is trying to salvage his situation somehow, somewhere, but I mean, the 2 Jaegers are now gonna move in. They're gonna have a really bad time against the BMP and the Saperi and the Razietka Saperi. Would need some more Leopard 2 to support them in the tree line, because even Leopard 1A1s are pretty dangerous to use in those forest lines against specifically 27s because of their modernized Motostrauki. Not their... Oh no, they still are with their 21 pen RPG. Can do a lot of damage against the Leopard 1s and even against the Leopard 2s, but I mean, Leopard 2 can at least survive something. And I don't even know what to do, what he should do at this point. Just because so many points have been... Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh, but they have been wasted on just bad buy-ins. He now has 3 Gepards. Like, there hasn't been... I think, yeah, there's 1 helicopter in the back here. But 3 Gepards at this point, and the Roland 3 as well. Well, I mean, the bottom side is at least secured, but here again, buying in the Leopard 2A3 when the pusher was already completely failed was just too late, and not what you should do. Don't use those expensive units to secure a flank. Always use your expensive units to push somewhere to gain the advantage. Then use the cheap units to just, you know, have a defensive line and maybe also just discourage your enemy from pushing. Okay, F4 FAT comes in, unfortunately misses completely. Leopard 2A3 dies on the top side. To some side shot from something. Here you can see there's 2 BMP3s and 2 T80BVs, even a 30 ADBV in the back. Motostrelki Metis, so yeah, really bad position he's in now. Leopard 2A3 losing the fight against the T80BV. Autoloader here really saving the day, and unfortunately the F4 just can't get a hit in. I mean, basically those planes you have to retreat them after they have been hit once, because when they're stressed out their accuracy gets lowered, and then you're just flying around basically wasting ammunition and just risking being shot down completely. And yeah, Leopard here is also moved way too far forward. With the AA guns now being also good against infantry, it would be a good idea if there wouldn't be 3 T80BVs around and 2 BMP3s. And look at this massive. Well, it's not a well, it is actually a massive blob if you consider the cost of the vehicles here. There's 4 BMP3s here against 2 Marder 1A2s and 1 Leopard 1A1 in the back. And again, Lars, like, look at this. It might kill the Motostrelki if you're lucky. Maybe it actually will? Yeah, it kills at least the Motostrelki, but again, the Mars would have killed both BMP3s. It would have been 180 points, and the infantry squad is 45 points. So yeah, this is really not going good. Luke's driving in here. Yeah, there's no chance. No chance in hell. You're not gonna get over this hill now, or onto the hill. At least the Mi-24 will go down because there's a bunch of Gepards. Actually, only one Gepard left, I think. One here, and that's it. Yeah. So 2 other ones are already dead. This would have actually been a point where you could use Panzermörsers, but for smoke, but then you would need at least 2, or I would say at this point actually you would need 3 to put up a good smoke wall. But he only has 1 and he's not using it. Now there's a Grad coming in, very far back. Maybe because he's afraid of the Mars counter battery. But yeah, SuSping surrenders because there was just no way in again for him, and yeah, the kill-loss ratio really speaks volumes. Really didn't go well for SuSping. His initial game plan was like, it was okay, but it wasn't executed perfectly, and then throughout the game just make Artie kept making the better decisions. And SuSping just couldn't take the initiative. And that's very bad. You always want to have the initiative. Even if you're playing a tank deck against an airborne squad or airborne division, you still want to keep the initiative early on by not playing into your enemy. So always find a way around the strengths of your enemy and use your own strengths. And you see, make Artie really use the strength in the form of the BMP3s here, getting a good amount of kills of all sorts. You can see, yeah, Leopard 1A1A1's really hard countered by the BMP3. The BRT M2 actually got a M113. Okay, that's funny. Look at this. Perfectly used them. This one getting a Leopard 2A3 and a Jaguar 2, amazing kills. But even here, getting 2 Martyrs and the Leopard 1A1 is also a very good kill list for a BMP3. JDBV here, yeah, that's a decent kill list. Here, another 2 BMP3s. Well, this one here is like nothing to talk about. But there again, 2 infantry squads, Martyr, even a 20-point truck on top of it, just to add insult to injury. Sniping an infantry squad in a transport, very bad. T80BV here apparently also was sniping a bunch of infantry squads. If you look at that Leopard 2A3 Gepard and looks on top of that, oof. Yikes, very bad. SU-17 sniping the command Leopard 2A3, and then the Motostrelki moving in and getting the other Leopard 2A3 command. Yeah, was really not going well. You see, the infantry wasn't actually doing that much. And there's a few infantry squads that got a good kill list, but like all in all, and also the planes weren't that amazing. Like mostly killing helicopters, and then the one Leopard 2A3 command. It was just using the BMP3s perfectly well. And then on the other side, the ballpark getting the Tunguska early on was obviously very good. But in this case, like, obviously it's a hard call to make because you don't know what else your enemy has. But maybe using more air would have been a good idea because you already killed an expensive air defense asset of your enemy. And to be fair, his enemy was buying in a lot of fighters, but that could have also been countered by, for example, having a roll on 3. So I don't really agree on starting with 2 Gepards. I would always rather have 1 Gepard and then maybe a bunch of manpads or even a roll on 3, just for the chance of getting a good hit on a plane. And yeah, let's see, Leopard 101 only get a BTR, Jaguar 2 only BTR, and supply vehicle. Milan 2 here was in a good position, got 2 BMP3s, so that's well done. Here Jaguar 2 at least getting 1 BMP3, so that's also fine, and together with the BTR and the BRDM, you know, it's a decent trade. But then you keep looking like, oh, not looking that great. This looks here did very well actually. Killing even a command unit, so props for him. Gepard 1 also performing well, and here we can really see the buff to the AA gun damage to infantry, getting 2 infantry kills. Would have taken like ages before this patch. There's the F4F that also got 2 BMP3s, but then also only got this 1 supply MTLB, and that was it. I guess look at this Leopard 2A3. Horrible. I mean, this one here at least performing a little bit better, but still not very good. And that, I mean, that's it. Those 2 Leopard 2A3s are the only Leopard 2s that got any kills. This is really, really bad. Yeah, because they were used too late and not in a combined arms way. And yeah, the Lars was also just a very bad choice. Don't really take the Lars in 1v1s, it's just not worth it. It might be worth in 10v10, but just don't use it in 1v1. Yeah, and also move up your commands, by the way. That's very important. If you're not sure about, capturing the zone, but the command might drive through too fast, just right-click it through the sector, and then shift-click it onto the next sector. It will not be as efficient, it won't be as quick, but it at least will be there. Like, SuSping lost out on a lot of points just because his command was sitting in the back, and make Arty as well, by the way. So don't leave them there. Rather do the right decision suboptimally than not do anything at all. Yeah, so the next games will be already the playoffs. Hope they will. I mean, they have technically already started, but there hasn't been a game played yet. So I hope we will get some games in the near future. And yeah, I hope you will be back for them. And until then, have a nice day and see you in the next one. Bye bye.